Winners Podcast. I'm your guys' host, as always, Derek Lauder. I appreciate you tuning in on this holiday weekend after Christmas here. I hope you guys are enjoying whatever you got, enjoying spending time with your family, however you chose to spend your holidays. I hope you guys had a great one. It's that simple. End of 2020, crazy year. Hopefully you were able to end it with a little bit of joy, a little bit of bliss, however it is that you were able to find that, whether that is with family, whether that's with your friends. It's different for everybody. Maybe you have a strained relationship with your family and you were just getting by and you were working on your business, whatever it is. I hope you guys had a great weekend. I hope you had a great Christmas, and New Year's is coming up this week. Welcome to the last podcast of 2020. We're going to talk about something really important heading into the new year today, guys. Something that I consider to be extremely important, and it was something that was reminded of me earlier this month, or I should say something that was shown to me again that reminded me what's important and reminded me how I need to live my life and the importance of live discipline and why I started that in the first place and what that means. And so on today's podcast, a little bit what I want to talk about is going to be putting distance between yourself and this week, but overall more it's going to be about choosing your hard. Okay, life is hard no matter how you put it, right? It doesn't have to be a struggle. It doesn't have to be really, it doesn't have to have any suffering, but life is tough. It's not easy. People are expecting 2021 to come and be easy out of nowhere. They're expecting 2021 to solve all the problems of 2020 just by default. But what they don't understand is that 2021 is probably going to be hard. It's probably going to be difficult. I would say that's going to be a lot less difficult in 2020, but it's still going to be hard. So you need to choose your hard. What do I mean by that? Well, the easiest way to put it is that, discipline is hard, but so is regret, living with regret. And if you don't choose discipline, you're going to live with regret. And you can go through your life through various different things you can apply this to, right? Being a good partner is hard in a relationship. But being single and lonely is also hard. You get to choose your hard. That's the beauty of the human experience. Choose your hard. Decide which path you want to take. Do you want to take the path of discipline, of working on yourself and being better in every facet that you can? Yeah, that's not easy. That's hard. Or do you want to live the other side of life, which is hard? And trust me, this is just as hard, if not harder. And that's the side of always underachieving, of never being what you thought you could be, right? Because you're not willing to put in the hard work. Maybe you're in a lot of debt combined with you don't have good relationships and you don't have a steady job. You don't have a career future because you're not willing to put in the work and see the long game. Thinking long term is hard. And so is thinking short term because you put yourself in situations that end up being hard, in your life in the long game. Because no matter how you think, life is a long-term game. Life doesn't take place over 2 weeks or over a year. It doesn't matter if you play the short game or you play the long game. Life is a long game. So you have to play the long game or else you're not going to be successful. It's that simple. But before we get too deep into choosing your hard, because we're going to go deep into different aspects of it and why choosing discipline is so much better than choosing regret, this is something I want to touch on just a little bit in this episode. This is a concept that I got from Ed Milet. I've seen it through various people that I follow just call different things, but it's called separation season, as he calls it, or, Ben Newman will call it creating distance. And what that means is that right now is a time where most people are going to be slowing down their grind, slowing down their roll. Maybe they're not putting out podcasts anymore. Maybe they're not booking clients. Maybe they're not working hard on their gym, on their body, whatever it is. And so it gives you a little bit of a window, right? It gives you a little bit of a window to attack and to separate yourself from the competition. If you haven't heard the Ed Milet podcast, Separation Season, I highly recommend going to listen to that right now because we are in the middle of it, guys. It's this week right here, right? The week between Christmas and New Year's. Most people are literally just chilling, kind of waiting for 2021 to come. Be different. Go ahead and separate yourself from the competition. Create distance. Go out there, set goals. Get a lot done this week to set yourself up for 2021. And that'll carry months in advance. Because a lot of people who are planning to get going right when 2021 starts, right? January 2nd, I'm going to get going. January 1st, I'm going to get going. They're actually not going to get going until probably like the 10th, maybe even the 15th, right? Takes a little bit usually. So bypass all that. Bypass that week. Get a whole week in advance of starting to separate yourself from everybody else. And this goes back. Choose your hard, right? Yeah, it's not easy to work during this week, but it's not easy to start in the middle of January where everybody else is starting. That's hard as well, right? So you get to choose your path in this life, in this human experience. I think this is important and underrated, and it's something that I want to dive a little bit deeper into with you guys. So let's start with discipline versus regret, right? There's a great saying out there that you have two choices. You can either live a life of discipline or you can live a life of regret. And you really can't choose between the two. If you're not disciplined in your decision making, if you're not doing the right or doing what you know you should instead of what you want to do, eventually there's going to become a point where you regret your decisions. A lot of people get into this with financial troubles. A lot of people get into this with, their relationships. A lot of people get into this with their body. It's everything in your life. If you're not willing to be disciplined, and we've been over this, but discipline is doing what you should do instead of doing what you want to do. And everybody knows what they should do. We all have that voice in the back of our head. I'm sure you guys can pinpoint it right now if you really think, that's telling you what you should do in most times. We know, right? Humans are smart. We know ourselves better than anybody else. The mind always has a tactical advantage. That's a David Goggins quote. Always has a tactical advantage because it knows you better than anybody else. So your mind knows your weak spots. It knows what buttons to press. It knows what to massage to get you out of your workout, to get you out of your discipline. So you always have to be stronger. Your will to succeed, your soul has to be stronger than your mind. Get that through your head, and I guarantee you'll be choosing the right hard from here on out. This is something that I struggle with for a lot of my life growing up. I chose the other hard, right? I didn't choose the hard work. I chose the sitting on the bench. And people don't understand both are a struggle, right? I mean, one's a mental struggle, one's a physical struggle that ends up with the fulfilling rewards at the end. So if you're offered the choice, if you're offered the opportunity to choose a path that may require suffering, it may require hard work, but in the end, it's going to fulfill you to joy, or you have a path to take the easy way out, you got to understand that the end result, it's kind of like you switch which order you're taking the results in. When you work hard for a result that you know will come or something that's fulfilling, you're putting in the work now for a result that's going to come, that's going to be good. So you're going hard work first, eventually fulfillment. You're not going to say easy, but just success. Now, the other side, it's like you're taking the easy way out, knowing that something hard awaits you in the future. Let me give you another good example. People who are listening who are students out there, I'm sure there's a lot of you guys who are college students, or maybe this applies to your job as well. Procrastinating is easy, but when you get to the point where you actually have to do the work, it's hard. And that's part of the process of procrastination. Cramming all your work that you have to do into a one day where you're stressed and you don't feel good, that's hard. Now, the first part of it might be easy because you're not doing any work because you're putting it off. Now, on the other hand, doing your work easy and spacing it out is also hard. It's hard to be disciplined. It's hard to have time management, but it's a different kind of hard than the procrastination where you're kind of like taking the easy way out and setting yourself up for failure in the future. Or if not failure, then, extreme work in a short period of time that you shouldn't be having to do. So I want you to think about one other facet of this whole choosing your path, because that's really what this is choosing your path and understanding that no path is going to be easy. So if you're choosing the easy way out, it's going to lead to hard times in the future. Think about your relationships, okay? Now, it's not easy to be a great partner. It's not easy to be, there emotionally and just be an amazing partner for whether it's your girlfriend, your boyfriend, or whether it is just a friend, right? It's not always easy. It's not always easy to be a great friend. But it's a lot harder to have horrible relationships in your life, all life, and be lonely because you were never able to take that step and sacrifice that it is hard to be a good partner, to be a good half of a relationship, and put in the work necessary. Instead, you're dealing with the other side of it that you wouldn't have had to deal with if you did put that work in. So really go through and decide in your life, where are you choosing the wrong path of hard? Where are you taking the easy way out? Thinking, oh, yeah, that's easy, I don't want to do that. But it ends up leading to a lot harder things in the future, a much harder path, obstacles, whatever it is that's holding you back in life. And where can you change your mindset to always try to look for doing something the hardest way? And this is where the whole military Navy SEAL mindset comes of look for the hardest way to do something, not the easiest way. Because usually you're setting yourself up in the future for more success and for easier times. For example, it's like if you're learning a video game. This is a great example for a lot of people out there. Let's say you're learning a video game and there's 100 controls, but you only need 3 controls to really play. But the other 100 controls are going to obviously make you a lot better, a lot more successful. So instead of taking a week and going slow and learning all the controls, you just learn the first 3 and kind of figure it out as you go and keep going. Right. In the beginning, it's easier. You get to play faster. You know the 3 controls. You can move around. But as you progress in the game, you realize, oh, I actually had to learn how to do that. And now I have to stop and go back and relearn how to do this. And the game becomes hard because you don't know how to do it. On the other side, the game is harder in the beginning because you take the time. You go the hardest way possible. I'm going to learn every single move perfected before I move forward at all. If you did that, the game would be easy. The game would be a breeze. It'd be a lot more fun. So, again, choose your hard. Decide which path you want to take because neither path is easy, but both paths have a chance, or not even have a chance. Both paths will lead to hard times and to not even hard times and struggle, but it's just not going to be easy. Both paths are going to have difficult times that you have to overcome and goals that you have to set and accomplish. So again, I would say go back to taking an audit of your life and figuring out which paths are you taking that could be improved, that you could take a different path instead and change your level of hard that you're choosing, and in the future see the reward, see the fulfillment of that. And again, before we leave, the last thing, guys, remember, this week is important. These next 2 weeks, this next month is extremely important. Separate yourself. This whole year has really been a separation season for 2020. If you ask me, a lot of people just kind of, took a step back. But this is even more of a time right now. So separate yourself. If you're listening to this podcast, awesome. Now go out there and put this into action right now. Do an hour of work. Do 2 hours of work. Whatever it takes, even if it's not what you thought was in your schedule, and separate yourself. And remember, guys, choose your hard. Choose your hard. Make sure you're choosing discipline, not regret. Elevate your standards, guys. I appreciate you tuning in. You can follow me at Derek Lauder. That's on Instagram, Twitter, TikTok. It's where we post all the new content. We post clips from all these episodes, as well as updates. I post my blog posts there and everything. So Instagram's kind of the big hub. If you guys want to follow me there, at Derek Lauder. We're going quick on there. We're growing quick on this podcast. I appreciate it. 2021, we have a lot of guests that are going to be coming up. I'm really excited to show that to you guys and share it with you. And other than that, thank you for listening. Thank you very much for listening. Send this to a friend. I will see you guys back in 2021. Enjoy the end of 2020 and go out there and do your best this last week. All right, guys, have a good one.